What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's me, Fitty Trent, and happy Mother's Day to one and all. Yes, that's right. If you live in North America, you are celebrating Mother's Day today. So shout out to all the moms out there. However, if you live in the UK or out there, Mother's Day for you was March. So for you, it was just a regular old Sunday. But one thing that did not happen back in March that did happen today, other than Mother's Day, was that we got to see some great playoff hockey. Yes, of course, that is why we're here talking about playoff hockey right here, right now. Game 2 of the Western Conference Final between the Anaheim Ducks and the Nashville Predators. So breaking down this game, we go into it. The Predators are on a 9-2 streak in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Ducks, they were only 8-4 rather. That's true. Going into this game, both teams very good, very hot, on good hot streaks. We open up the game. It looks like Nashville's really controlling this game, really controlling the puck. Boom! Ryan Johansen, a BC boy himself, gets his third goal of the playoffs, assisted by Arvidsson and Josi. I said Josi was going to have a bounce back game. He got an assist tonight, right there, right then. And then boom, soon after that, James the real deal Neal, his 5th goal of the playoffs, incredibly assisted by Johansen, his 10th assist of the playoffs, and Ekholm, his 6th. And just like that, I thought, ooh, Nashville, they are taking control of the series like Nashville has been looking like they've been doing so frequently, haven't they? Just looking so good, so poised. And then they kind of let their guard down a little bit near the end of the period. And during the power play, Sami Vatanen scores his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by who else? Ryan Kesler, assisted by his other Ryan in command, Ryan Kesler, to end off that first period. And okay, Anaheim, they're starting to pick it up. They're starting to pick up the pressure by the looks of it. Then next thing you know, second period starts. And before I can even sit down, before I can even get comfortable, boom, Jakob Silfverberg, his 9th goal of the playoffs, assisted by Richard Rakell and Cam Fowler to tie up the game. And at this point, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it's a tie game. I thought Nashville was running away with it, and now it's starting to get interesting. Things are starting to go back and forth. The next Fillip Forsberg, a.k.a. Washington Capitals regret, gets his 5th goal of the playoffs, assisted by who else? The guy who's hot, the guy who loves being on the scoreboard, Arvidsson, the biggest fan of the Nashville Predators. He's cheering every single time he makes a play, assisted by him. Nashville's starting to take control of this game again, but hold on. The rookie, Andrej Kase, or Andrej Kase, I don't know how you pronounce it. He gets his first goal of the playoffs. I believe that's his first playoff goal of his entire career, assisted by Theodore, another rookie who's been looking great, and Manson. And next thing you know, Anaheim, they start to dominate, and you really start seeing this. Nick Ritchie, that grinder on the first line with Ryan Getzlaf, gets his 3rd goal of the season, or playoffs rather, assisted by Getzlaf and Montour. Third period starts, and before you know it, bang, bang, boom, Anaheim basically has the entire control, and Antoinne Vermette, he gets his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by who else? Getzlaf and Cam Fowler, to end off the game 5-3 for the Anaheim Ducks. And honestly, this was just a great playoff game of hockey. You can't deny that. If you're a Predators fan, I'm sure you would have liked it to go a different way. But come on, this was a great game of hockey. It had highs, it had lows, it had ups, it had downs. It had times where I was really excited. It had times where I was fearing for the other team's life. I mean, honestly, no one really dominated this game. Looking at the stats right here, Predators had 33 shots, Ducks only 27. I mean, 19 hits for the Predators, 20 for the Ducks, 12 blocks for the Predators, 10 blocks for the Ducks, 12 giveaways by the Predators, 13 giveaways by the Ducks, 48% in the faceoff circle for the Predators, 52% for the Ducks. Overall, this was a very even game. I mean, the Ducks, they did have one extra power play, which they capitalized on. But besides that, this was such an even game and such a great game to watch. And we knew that these two teams were going to be even. We knew that both these teams, they like to play a more physical style. I've been saying since, game 1, even before that, Nashville loves to play that physical defensive side of the game. Meanwhile, the Anaheim Ducks like to play that physical, offensive side of the game. So, honestly, the physical offensive side of the game, that won it for this game, clearly, because they got a big 5 goals. Quickly looking at the stats, I mean, we always like to look at the winners first. Ryan Getzlaf, I mean, Can this guy do anything but score? 3 big apples. That's right, 3 assists in this game. Only a 1 shot on goal, 1 hit, and 1 block and 1 takeaway. But those 3 beautiful passes that led to goals made all up for it. Yes, he was only 42% in the faceoff dot. So you can say that in a way they kind of shut him down at the center role. But it didn't matter because his second Ryan in command, Ryan Kesler, was there to back him up with 64% on that faceoff draw with an assist, with a +1. He did have a penalty, but he did make up for it with 3 shots and a block. I mean, absolutely great. Nate Thompson, someone who's always been kind of looked over, he had 4 big hits during this game. Andrej Kase, as I said, that rookie who scored a goal, he had 4 shots. That led the team in shots. A big 4 for him. Nick Ritchie, always been more physical. 5 big blocks. You look at Silfverberg, he had 3 takeaways. He got 1 goal and 3 takeaways. Honestly, the Ducks played an outstanding game. Once again, I think Sami Vatanen was kind of the weak spot. Yes, he did get that goal that, you know, you much needed at that end of that first period to get your team back into it. But other than that, 5 giveaways, once again, I mean, in the last 2 games, Sami Vatanen has a total of something like 10 to 12 giveaways. You can't be doing that if you're the puck-carrying defenseman like Sami Vatanen is. Meanwhile, looking at their #1 defender, who's been one of their #1 defenders for a while, John Gibson, 30 saves out of the 33 chances with a .909 save percentage. Those are solid enough numbers. Yes, you know, he let in 3 goals, but the thing is, his team backed him up by scoring a lot of goals. You also look at players like Cam Fowler, who had a good game. 2 big assists for him, a hit, a couple blocks. You know, you look at Manson, 1 assist. He got a couple hits, couple shots. In fact, every single one of their defensemen got at least 1 point, except for Hampus Lindholm, you know, the defensive dynamo. He's like kind of the Swedish Carlson, because he's also Swedish. Carlson's that offensive guy. Hampus Lindholm, in my opinion, is kind of like that defensive guy. He's the defensive Carlson. Only 2 shots, but he did have a few blocks. He did have a few takeaways and a few big hits. So overall, a great dominating game for the Anaheim Ducks. Then you look at the Nashville Predators, and the Predators didn't play a bad game. Honestly, they just didn't play outstanding. I mean, Forsberg, he led your team in shots, 5 big shots. I mean, he did get that 1 goal. He had 2 hits, but he also had 2 giveaways, which is not a good thing. Colton Cison, I mean, 3 takeaways. Way to be for that young kid to take away all those pucks. Victor Arvidsson, as I said, the #1 fan of those Nashville Predators, 2 big assists, 2 big takeaways, a hit, a block. He played well. Austin Watson, you know he's going to come in. You know he's going to be throwing around the body. 5 big hits for him. Doing well. Vernon Fiddler on the roof, 50% in the faceoff draw. You know, that's pretty average. Mike Fisher, 53%. I mean, he was a -2, but he did get it done on the faceoff dot. Looking at their defensive, though, Ekholm, I mean, 3 big shots. Yossi had 4 big shots. You know, really led the team with the defense there. Even though that Yossi, he was a -1, I thought he played an okay game. Subban had two giveaways as well. You know, that's okay. He was a +1, though. Ryan Ellis, I said that he'd have a bounce-back game from the last game. Did he? To be completely honest with you, Ryan Ellis kind of disappointed me in this game. I mean, with that beautiful beard, we've been seeing him do lots of shots. He was a -1 in this game. 0 shots, only 1 hit. And basically being your 3rd leading defenseman in ice time, you'd expect him to do a little bit more. But then again, I guess not, especially when he has over 3.5 minutes of power play time. You think he would have gotten a shot? He didn't. Pekka Rinne did not have a spectacular game. Pekka Rinne has arguably been the best goaltender in these playoffs, I'd say. And honestly, he only made 22 saves out of 26 shots. That's good enough for a .846 save percentage. That's not good enough if you're a Nashville Predators fan. You want to see Pekka Rinne make more saves. Do I honestly believe that this might be the crash of Pekka Rinne that everyone usually sees when they're a Predators fan? Because honestly, Nashville, they haven't made it to the 3rd round in their entire career. Do I think that Pekka Rinne is crashing? No, I honestly don't. I think it was just a bad game. I think, you know, everyone has a bad game, but he will be able to have a bounce-back game. Gibson and the Ducks, they just kind of outplayed him, to be completely honest with you. Taking a quick look at the chat right now, we got Josh in the chat. He said, good game. Rinne had a bad game. and made the Ducks look better than they actually did, but the Ducks still had a pretty good game. I agree with that. I mean, the Ducks didn't have an outstanding game. They did play good enough. You know, Jeremy's in the comments. He said, second comment, is Mitch coming to the stream? No, sadly, Mitch was a little bit busy tonight, so it's just me, myself, and I that you have to deal with. I'm sorry in advance there, Jeremy. I know that you love everyone else's opinion as much as I do, but sadly, you just have me. So, now that I've covered the comments, moving on, as I said, Pekka Rinne, don't worry about him. He had an off game. We've seen Pekka Rinne do really well in the playoffs before, and we've also seen him have his collapse. Is his collapse coming now? No, I honestly don't believe that it will. He has a great defensive core in front of him that will be able to help him out. Honestly, I find that the defensive core, they might have failed him a little bit. And the Ducks, you know, they got lucky. They got some lucky bounces, and they ended up winning this game. No offense to the Ducks. You played a good game. It's just I still think that the Predators will be able to beat the Ducks in 7 games. If the Nashville Predators want to continue on winning these games, honestly, it comes down to, if you can get a few more blocks, that'd help. I know that you led with 12, but the Ducks are a shooting team, and they're an accurate shooting team. So if you can get in front of that puck a little bit more, that would help. Also, going 0 for 3 on the power play, that didn't help you out at all either. Ellis, you need to start getting more shots towards the net. You need to be, that guy that can be that main power play guy, because honestly, when you are on the power play, you are kind of that quarterback, I find. Yes, PK Subban and Roman Josi, they're the quarterbacks of that first power play, but the second one, that's where Ellis and Weber really do shine. If the Ducks want to continue on winning this game, honestly, just keep on playing your game. Yes, the Ducks, they played a good game tonight. Did they get lucky at some points? Yes, they did. But luck wins you games in the NHL, whether you're a good team or, as Mitch says, just a team that sucks. Both these teams are great. You have to be great to make the Western Conference Final. And you know what? The luck was in the Ducks' favor tonight, and it showed. They won the game. They did great. But the Ducks also are going to have to go against good old Smashville, a.k.a. the most righteous and loud arena in the playoffs so far, by far, the Nashville Predators. I mean, they've never lost a game on their home ice so far these playoffs. So honestly, will the Ducks have a chance of beating the Nashville Predators in Nashville? I think that they do have the chance, but Nashville, with that big crowd, I mean, the crowd's definitely going to be behind them. Nashville is definitely going to have a little bit more of an advantage next game, and I think that they'll be fired up. It's rare that you see Ryan Ellis have 2 bad games in a row, even though he had a bad game tonight, and he didn't have such a great game 1. I think he'll have a huge bounce back game 3, and, he might even get a goal or 2, because he has been scoring quite a few goals, especially for a defenseman. So my predictions for that game 3, I mean, honestly, I think Anaheim, they're going to come close, but I think Nashville will be able to win this game, probably 3-2 in overtime. Looking at the chat once again, because we have a lot of new people in the chat, we have a good old Jetflix saying, I want Preds and Pens in the final. I want Preds Ottawa, but, Preds Pens would be awesome. It would prove that it would be better than Pens versus Sharks. I'd actually agree with that. Because, the Sharks, they were a little bit older. I really like the defensive core of the Nashville Predators, so I think that would be very nice. Jeremy's on my side. He says Sens versus Preds. So thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that. I hope you're right. Then Jetflex says no. Jeremy says yes. Then not in my opinion. That would suck. Sens would beat 7 and Pens. I doubt it. What's your favorite team? I have a top 5. They're just going on about their teams. This is awesome. This is great. This is why we created the Bottom Line View, for you guys to create friends, or then again, for you guys to create, maybe a few little rivalries here and there, for you guys just to talk about hockey, because that's what we love doing. So be sure to keep on subscribing, keep on commenting on the Bottom Line View, and keep on liking our videos, because we do it for you guys, because we really want to see you guys talk more about hockey. Friends and Seds will be preferable from me. What's going on, Trent? Says Packard. Nothing much, Packard. What about you? We just experienced a great hockey game. We're just about to close this off. I know that you just showed up here, Packard. But I'm just going to tease that tomorrow we got a big game 2. Ottawa versus Pittsburgh. Ottawa has taken game 1. Some people are saying Ottawa's going to run away with this series now. Some people say that the Penguins have nothing to worry about, that the Ottawas are a nothing team. In my opinion, Ottawa is a great team facing another great team against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Two great teams facing off against each other. I don't think that the Penguins will have two bad games in a row. I think that the Penguins will be able to win this game, tie up the series. You know, that's my little Mitch in me saying that the Penguins will be able to tie up this series. And yeah, so that will be tomorrow's game review. And you better believe that Mitch will be on that game review because he'll be talking about how great those Penguins are, even if they lose. And if they do lose, he'll be coming up with tons of excuses for them. I'm just kidding. So subscribe, like, and comment on the Bottom Line View because we're getting bigger, we're getting better. And people like the good old Packard, people like Jeremy, people like Jetflix. Honestly, these guys, you people are the people of why we do this. You are the reason why the Bottom Line View is so active and all these things. So keep on liking our videos. Keep on talking in that live chat, in the comments, and keep on suggesting things because we love to read your comments. All right, this is Fitty Trent signing off, saying this was a great game of hockey, but I am looking forward to even more. All right, peace out, everybody.